So we're here today to talk about the surveys that we've just undertaken in the Botanic Gardens and the adjoining Tall Gums reserves. So you're looking at around about 170 hectares of just amazing koala habitat. In a partnership with the University of Queensland, we had previously done some collaring of 3 koalas in this area. We found, 50% of the sightings were sitting in tallow wood. The advantage of an area like this, particularly when you're pulling in this core reserve and the private properties around, you've not only got a diversity of species, you've also got sort of variety in the ages of the trees, which is what's needed for koala habitat as well.
We're here tonight in the Maroochy garden to look for koala. We know that they're around. We've been studying them, and the friend of the garden have been monitoring them for quite a few years now, but we've never really surveyed the entire garden to look at the number of koala so we can calculate density. We're using a drone to look for koala from the sky because they're really hard to spot daytime, nighttime. They're just really cryptic as animals. So when we look for them without the setup that we're using, we can miss up to 50 to 80% of the koala that are there. So what we do, we mount a thermal camera on the drone and we do transect from the sky. And then we look for a little hot spot, if you want. And in that specific imagery, you'll see a difference in contrast between the forest, which is cold, and a little whitish, yellowish point that is hopefully a koala. So here it is in the middle of the screen, a little white blob. So basically you can see the canopy of the tree and a contrast, very bright yellow.
So we were very excited to find that the transect's flown across the 2 Tall Gums reserves and the Botanic Gardens, and 5 of the adjoining private properties have detected 14 koalas, which was much better than we expected, so we were thrilled with that result.
A basic data that often is missing in terms of protecting koala is to know how they're doing, so their trends, whether the population is stable or increasing, which is really what we would love to see. In addition to the thermal drone, so counting koala and koala density from the sky, we also deploy a detection dog. And the reason for that is that we really want to find fresh scats, and those dogs are specifically trained to detect really, really fresh koala scats or poo.
So we have the GPS coordinates for the koalas that were detected by the drone last night. And so we're going to go to that point with the detection dog, and she should also help us lead us there in case the koala moved slightly overnight. And she will pick up the scent of the scats and the koala, so she's also trained on fur. You onto something, Billy? You want the ball? You want the ball? Go find. As soon as we get there, she will likely indicate on the scat, and then we will have a look around and see if we can spot the koala. Fine, Billy. Yes, Billy! Good girl! Then we will take some pictures and see if we can collect some scats in the tube. This is how we collect scats for genetic sampling. So from the scats we can get DNA, and we can get all sorts of information about disease and sex.
Well, Lizzie Koala, we found her first here about 2016 now. We found her in some trees not far from the Arts and Ecology Centre. She basically had a territory of about 10 hectares or 25 acres, which was mainly centred on the creek, so about half the time either side of the creek. Our research was just finding her, tracking her, writing down her location, GPS locations. And over the next 4 years or so, we tracked her once a week, once a fortnight, and occasionally we'd find her that was close enough here that we could bring visitors in and take them in and have a look, and that was the best part of the whole project, really.
So one thing about the Sunshine Coast is that the population has likely been declining. So by sampling many koalas in this non-invasive way, we can actually analyze the data to find out about how connected the koala population is across the landscape. We can also look at things that are really important for population dynamics, such as sex ratio, so how many females to males do we have in the population, which is a good indicator for things like breeding success or viability of the population.
By continuously monitoring, we can see how koala are doing, and if they're not doing well, we can then attempt to help them.
I feel positive that things can be done. If everyone does their little bit, we can build koala numbers back up.